Thank you that I can present another project of the Green Finance Alliance. The Green Finance Alliance we've heard a lot about in the last days. My colleague Pedram Payami also talked about it. Maybe you saw that it was always about the topic of climate, or primarily about the topic of climate. It is a climate initiative, and we are focusing on accompanying the members of the Green Finance Alliance towards climate neutrality by 2050. But we have already also heard during this conference that climate is closely connected to biodiversity. They interact, they are codependent, especially when we're thinking that biodiversity and also the climate change is a driver for the loss of biodiversity, and which also means more biodiversity means more resilience and better ecosystems, something that helps us when it comes to climate change and adapting to it. So we see these two topics are very interconnected. So financial companies who are treating the topics of green finance also have to find synergies of the different climate topics and also identify areas of conflict. And that is why we said for us at the Green Finance Alliance, it is very important to include the topic biodiversity and to make it part of the climate initiative. We do that through the guideline of integrating the biodiversity into the core business of financial companies. As the name says, it is about having biodiversity be part of the core business of financial companies. So it's investment, credit, and underwriting portfolios. It's not about the offices of the financial companies, but what happens with the financial flows, what happens with the money, because that is where we can have a connection to biodiversity, to nature. Before I talk about the content of the guideline, I would like to talk about the approach we took. We defined a few principles. We wanted that the content is related to the climate criteria we already have in the Green Finance Alliance. So we already had some kind of structure, and the members already knew about the structure. But we also wanted that the recommendations we included in this guideline to be related to the context and to the business of the members. But the members is a very heterogeneous group. We have small regional banks, but also big global insurance companies. So the guideline got a little broader than we thought. And also we didn't want to find out or make up something new in this guideline. Maybe most of you or many of you already know there are guidelines on this topic, on biodiversity and financial markets. So we didn't just want to write another guideline, but we wanted to have a guideline that has added value for the reader, and use what already existed and look at what is relevant for our members in order to give you an overview. Because especially small financial companies, for them it is very difficult to look at all these resources and data themselves. So the next slide, we can see two basic principles, the scientific and technical foundations we looked at and summarized, and on the other side, the topics of the guideline related to the already existing climate criteria, and we formulated recommendations based on science and also referring to the scientific basis. And next to the technical foundation and the guideline, we also included national and international frameworks like the Austrian and EU biodiversity strategy, and also at the global level, the global biodiversity framework, where global, regional, and national goals are formulated. And we think these are important for the strategic efforts of a financial company. We looked at the technical guidelines, at the regulatory requirements, and also the direct exchange with experts of biodiversity from the Federal Environment Agency, from our biodiversity team, and also the Austrian Market Authority, and members of other boards, and also from the Green Finance Alliance. So thank you for this exchange, and we were very happy about this exchange and feedback we got. And on the right side, the topics we looked at, so a hotspot analysis, topics related to biodiversity and identify them, and how important and relevant they are for the individual finance companies, governance and mainstreaming, commitment, expansion of green activities, and also finding key figures and objectives. We heard about it yesterday as well. There is not this one key figure. For example, on CO2 emissions, there are many figures we have to take into account. What we did is define a process in order to step-by-step find a step-by-step approach, and making sure and looking at where the members are at in their pathway towards taking biodiversity into account. So this is about the analysis of hotspots and prioritized topics, because for many companies, biodiversity was a new topic, even though we've heard that biodiversity has been a topic at the COP for a long time, but still for many companies this was new. So hotspot indicators were defined to see what is important for me as a financial company, then the strategic orientation, mainstreaming, engagement, and the expansion of green activities. Find the key figures and objectives, and then the last point is the implementation. In 10 minutes, it's very difficult to talk about everything. If you're interested in this topic, I just want to tell you that we have an English and a German version of the guide, and we are planning to not only have this guideline that you can all look at, but also go into bilateral exchange meetings with the Green Finance Alliance members and also have workshops on the topic. And that's about it from my side. Thank you. If you have questions, just approach me or write me an email, please.